Okay, I'll go ahead and call the December 21, 2021 City Council meeting to order and welcome everybody here. We have a full complement of board members tonight, perfect attendance. And then we have a few of our regulars here with us, and we're glad to have them. And welcome anybody that may be watching tonight at this time. And I will also take this opportunity to wish everybody in the room and out there a Merry Christmas. It's on us here, folks, pretty quick. So I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Once again, we have to begin our meeting with not so good news, I guess. It seems like we are having a lot of tragedy and death in our community, but since our last meeting, we lost a very valuable employee here, Jimmy Morgan. Jimmy was tragically killed in an accident on the same day as the Christmas parade. And Jimmy has been I meant to look in my notes and I forgot, but I think Jimmy had been with us 22 and a half years. Isn't it? Okay, may have been. It was something half, because he just turned a half on December the 1st. He hired on June the 1st. Jimmy was a very valuable employee, a hard-working employee, but he was also valuable to this community in the fact that whatever job people had out there that needed help on their own private time and Jimmy's private time, he would take that work on. And he will be missed, and I hope, and we will note in the minutes his importance to this city and to this community. And so that will be remembered for many, many years to come. That is, if I'm not mistaken, that is 2 employees we have lost in 15 months. Joe Hall passed in September of 2020, and now Jimmy on December of 2021. Both will be missed and are missed. All right, if you'll bow with me, we'll have a word of prayer and then we'll go forward. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity to get together tonight. We're thankful for everyone that's here, and we pray a blessing on them and their families. Lord, we are so lucky to live in a free country. We're thankful for that. We're thankful for the season that you have given us with the birth of your Son many, many, many years ago, and that we have the opportunity to worship the birth of our Savior. And we hope that everyone will remember the real reason for the season as they enjoy their time with family and friends. So we'll ask now that you bless this meeting, continue to bless this community, and help to keep our people safe from harm if it be your will. Go with us and forgive us our many sins. Amen. All right, you got a set of minutes there from last month, and this is one of those 2 or 3 times of the year where we have 5 weeks between meetings. Most of the time it's 4, but the quirk of the calendar. So it seems like it's been forever since we met, but it's been 5 weeks. So when y'all are ready on the minutes, let me know. Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All right, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Before we go to public business, I want to comment in her presence. Miss Dina Dowd is with us. And I put this on Facebook 2 or 3 days after the parade, but I was told by several people who participated in the parade several times over the years, and also those who are regular watchers, that it was the best parade ever. So thank you for your efforts, and I know some others helped you, but you did it? Okay, all right, thank you. We'll give you a public pat on the back, and it was, now you've raised the bar, so we'll see what you do next year, okay?
Resigning's not an option.
No, it's not. But it was a very good parade, and
there were a lot of entries. We were very fortunate. The week
yes.
before, I had not as many, and then within a week, we doubled that and then some. And I was really happy to see that horse and trailer show up at the end, and it was great. There's still a little communication gap in getting all the applications to me. Somewhere there's a step missing, and I tried to cover all that and still missed one or two. But above all, everyone seems so happy and very cooperative. Okay, I had one less than cooperative person, but that changed quickly. And then they all went down in order. It was great.
Well, and I will say to you that 2022 is a big election year, so get ready for the 4th of July parade.
We had a lot of elected officials there this time as well. I was surprised to see that many.
Yeah.
Because I tried to keep them all grouped together except those that were running against each other, and we gave that gap. So,
Set it up where one shot, get them all, right?
yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, we'll go into public business. Anybody got anything they want to bring to us? All right. Miss Lily, you got anything? Nah, okay. Yeah, well, let's start our reports then, and I think first in the round tonight would be Dale Smith. You're up first.
We did have some more problems with the pumps on the pump station on Cornwall Avenue. We had to pull both the pumps. They had wipies in them again. We haven't gotten the replacement pump in yet that we ordered last month, but it should be getting in within the next few weeks. The state came by in November, did a compliance inspection, and I attached a report with it. They were happy as far as I could tell when they left, so but the report is attached. And I'm currently working on the local limits for the industries, which we only have one industry that's permitted, but I'm working on updating those, and when we get those, I'll get them to the city, and we'll have to approve them and put them in the sewer use ordinance and that stuff. That's the things I got for you this month.
Dale, I noticed on the second page of that report where it says technical plating was considered an expansion, and I've not been talking to those folks lately. I've got to get back on that once things settle down a little bit.
Yeah, we came, the state actually came to technical plating and visited with them, and we talked with them about it, and they were
Good.
discussing the possibility of moving and things. So
They seem to be very fine folks, and I don't want them to think that I have forgotten it. I haven't forgotten it, but there hadn't been a lot of time.
from what I
I'll
understand,
get
he's
back to that.
at capacity at his plant there, and he's wanting to expand and do more business, which is, you know.
Yeah, it's the American way.
Yep.
You have on your desk a copy, but let me give you some background. Dale works, his company, I refer to Dale, but he's actually a corporate entity, and his corporation handles the sewer work for us, and they have for several years. They are now in the 4th year of the 4-year contract. It will expire June 30 of 2022. There should be a copy of the proposed new contract in front of you, as well as the existing contract. I'm not asking you to take any action on that tonight. Take it, look at it, compare it. Dale has advised me that there are no changes other than to the what we pay him. It's got a 3% escalator clause per year. Because we contract with him, we don't pay any of the matching Social Security or any of those expenses. He handles those, and we will need to take a look at that in January or February, so that we've got continuity throughout. I don't have any problem recommending to you that Dale and his company stay contracted with the city of Watertown, but I want you to look at it. He asked me tonight if there was anything else that we needed to change. I don't know of anything. But if you see something you want to talk about, or you see something that you want to expand his duties or whatever, direct your questions to him. I can tell you about contract language, but I can't tell you what he does. He does that. So if you have questions or comments for him, get in touch with him. And otherwise, we'll bring it back up in January or February. Other than that, does anybody have any questions about his report or what he's doing or where we are or anything like that?
We sent some kind of message out, I believe, about the wipes. Is there anything we can do about that?
We've done that 2 or 3 times, and apparently it's not working.
It's costing us, so
Yeah, it is.
we need to do something.
It is, and The other thing that a lot of people don't realize, they will if they think about it, but while those things are grinding or whatever, that's costing us electricity. Because,
Are we seeing any type of improvement when we're
I
sending
I
the,
haven't seen any
the mail
improvement
outs?
on it, no. And it's not just a problem here, it's a problem all over the United States.
Sure.
And it's an increasing problem.
yeah. And well, let me say this, you know, we mentioned with the death of Lunita Howard, how important Lunita was to this community, and her paper was very important. But that was my way, and I did this at her request, that was my way of being able to stay in touch with most of the townspeople. I can put something on Facebook, but not everybody's on Facebook, and those that are not are probably the wisest people around. But I had that way to communicate with people. I don't have that anymore, so we've got to figure out some way to try to help Dale with that. I don't know exactly. Any suggestions you may have, I'll certainly take it up. Any other questions of Dale? Thank you, my friend. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas. Lily, have a big Christmas, okay? Don't get all the presents. Leave some of the presents for the rest of us, okay? All right. Chief Hahn, fire report.
Good evening, council. The fire department last month responded to 49 calls, 10 of those being in the city and 39 of those in the county. We're still waiting on the radios to arrive. The last update we got, they said it should be around the first of the year. I believe with the FEMA grant and giving out that the money, it was a major influx in ordering in a lot of products, but I think that's got us set back just a little bit. But they're anticipating in early January for that to arrive. We're not doing a fish fry in January just because it falls on New Year's Day, and let everybody enjoy time with their families and all that. And the department would like to extend our condolences to the Morgan family again for the loss of Jimmy, who's definitely a special part of our community. We've been invited on January 22nd to take part with a mocked natural disaster with 911. So what they're doing is they're training a lot of their dispatchers under a mocked natural disaster, and they've asked us to participate with that. And so that's going to be over the radio. So they'll free up the air on the radio, and so we'll call in and radio in during that. And they wanted to get all three shifts of their shifts in, so that would be all throughout that day. But it'll be good coordination with them, good working relationship, and then for our guys to see some of that and good training for them as well. So that's just about all I've got, unless y'all got any questions.
Questions of the chief? Sounds to me like y'all handled the night of the storms pretty well.
Yes, sir.
You know, I had some comments that the tornado alarm didn't go off, but it only goes off when there's a warning, doesn't it?
That's correct. That's issued, it's got to be a warning for our immediate area issued by the National Weather Service. And those are controlled from WEMA. So they've got a weather team up there, and our sirens here, whether they activate it or not, that's kind of out of our control. But I do know that unless we're in an actual tornado warning, that they don't activate those.
In straight line hands do not count.
That's correct, and unfortunate, it can be just as dangerous, but it is just for tornado confirmation.
That's what I was seeing people post on Facebook was about the straight, but we did have damage in the area.
Right.
But they were straight line wind damage.
Yeah.
And so, but we do appreciate y'all coming out. What's what woke me up? Telephone alarms didn't wake me up, Johnny.
Right.
And probably everybody here knows this, but y'all turn into a host at times when people come over there when there's bad weather. They want to hang out with y'all.
We do. We welcome that, and we want everybody to feel safe and do what we can to help with that. And so we've turned into a shelter at times during severe weather.
I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Lee Lassiter. He is one of our firemen and also one of our city employees. So he's sitting back there trying to be incognito, but I'm not going to let him. Chief, if you don't have anything else, y'all have a good Christmas too.
Thank you, sir. You too.
You got to work on Christmas Day? You're not on shift, are you?
I am.
Oh, man. Okay, Chief Laney, police report.
We've got some numbers that's down this month quite a bit. Incident reports are down, which is a good thing, of course. Call for services. Most of our call for services is been the school traffic. We've been assisting with the school traffic at the middle school, welfare checks, and people that just got questions and they want to talk to an officer. So all of that's doing real well. We've got Officer Benjamin back now from the military, and he's back on. He's working midnight shift, which is good. But the bad part is, this afternoon, we got a letter of resignation from Officer Deck. He's going to work for the sheriff's office. So we're going to be looking again. We don't have anybody at this point to replace him with. But fortunately, we've got most of our part-time people back, which will be able to help us.
Is Dick going to work for the Wilson County Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
Okay. Well,
I think,
that may be all I say about that as well. Was it Benjamin that, on the night of the storms, that got out about 4 o'clock in the morning and rode around with his radio and his loudspeaker?
yes,
Did a good job with that. I heard a lot of nice comments about that.
I believe he's gonna be a real good officer for us.
Okay. Seemed like there was something else I was gonna ask you about that, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know what I wanted to say, though. You said something there about welfare checks. We've got some new members on the council, and so let's say publicly, next couple of months, we'll have some cold weather, obviously. I mean, it's winter time. We'll have some probably 0 or close to 0 nights and stuff. It goes without saying, Chief, if y'all worried about somebody, especially the elderly, hadn't heard from them, hadn't seen them, you're concerned about them, go check on them. Fire department, police department, Bob, anybody, go check on them. Don't wait for somebody to call and say, hey, we hadn't seen, I'll use Ms. Dina for example, we hadn't seen Ms. Dina in a day or two. You know, go check on them, knock on the door, make sure they're all right. If they need their trash hauled off, take it. You know,
We've
if they
done
can't
that, changed light bulbs, the whole 9
If they
yards.
can't get out and get their groceries, tell them to call it in, y'all go pick it up for them. That's just what we do in a small town, and
We're proud to do it.
yeah, and, you know, hope
Yes, sir.
nobody is in distress, but if they are, we certainly want to get to them
We've got
before it's too late.
quite a bit of Christmas stuff we're gonna be handing out too. I forgot to mention that. We've got names that's been submitted that, you know, they're gonna be delivering to, and then we've got some stuff that's gonna be left over that they're giving to one of the other programs. And I forgot which one it is.
There's a lot of programs out there, it's hard to keep
Yes,
up
sir, it
with,
is.
but that's good.
Yes.
I'm shifting around on you a little bit. When's Deck's last day?
January the 7th, I believe.
January 7th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any we got another item we need to take on under Chief, but anybody got any questions of what we talked about? All right. Now that I've said that, don't y'all be calling in to the chief to go pick up your groceries, all right?
I do got one personal note to tell you. My grandson, last Friday, got his acceptance to UT. Be going there.
Wise boy. He'll have a great education.
Yes, sir. He's been working real hard for it. He's young, but
I'm gonna have to listen to all this
he
on
is so excited.
the west end of the table here. Well, good. He'll be a freshman?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, it's a wonderful life. Thanks for telling me that, too.
Chief, how long was Officer Deck with us here in Watertown?
He's been with us a couple of years. I don't know the exact time, but it's been a couple of years.
I guess I need to be careful what I say, but in the past, our police department has been kind of a proving ground for those that want to hire them. And we kind of gotten away from that, but I will tell you, as what you mentioned, we don't have anybody in line. Sheriff's Department, WEMA, everybody is having staffing shortages, and everybody's paying
Yes.
overtime. And I don't know if it's gonna get any better or not. Not short term, long term it might. There's a lot of talk with the state about creating classes that advance people faster to get them in the field to work. But the truth of the matter is, they gotta wanna do it.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people, and I mentioned on the radio this morning, I've heard Director Luttrell say, that there's not enough teachers to go around statewide. So that's one of those things we're gonna be facing, I think. Any other questions of the chief? Okay, we passed last month on first reading the ordinance about establishing reasonable court costs. That's here before you tonight on second and final reading, and I recommend approval to you on that. Should be a copy there in front of you. You didn't see it last time, Laura, but yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that is approved, and I will sign it, and it will become the law. It just did. I don't have a lot for you tonight, but I will go through 2 or 3 things quickly. Last month, we gave the ARP bonuses, and we did that in a resolution form. We don't have to do that again. But the budget amendment that moves the money into the appropriate line items, we approved it on first reading last time. It needs to be approved on second and final reading, so I recommend that to you as well.
I make a motion we approve.
Is there a second? Got a motion and a second to approve that appropriation ordinance. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you all very much. I'll give you just a couple of updates on some things. Turntable Committee met November 29th, I think, and we had Ray Render from Congressman Rose's office here with us. Ray was very interested in our project, and we are trying to, during the recess during January, the congressional recess, we hope to have Congressman Rose here for a meeting with the Turntable Committee to talk about funding possibilities for the turntable. So cautiously optimistic about that. But we spent about an hour with Ray, and then he went with John and Bill Schultz, I believe, and went down to the site and toured the site. So we'll be back. I'll keep you posted on how that works out. I don't have anything to report to you on the sewer rehab. I don't have the easements in place. Frankly, I just hadn't been able to get to them. I'll get back on that. Won't be over Christmas, but I will try to get caught up on some things over Christmas where we can get back on that after the first of the year. I saw something yesterday, talking about the round of funding for next year is now in place, and we are in the mix for that once we get all our paperwork in. And the other thing is, and I sure hadn't had time to read this, but this afternoon I got a report in from the state about how they are going to divvy out their funds, not what came to us directly, but state funds for water and sewer improvement. The report's 52 pages long. So I hadn't had a chance to read it. Now, that'll probably be some Christmas vacation reading too. But need to find out if there's a way for us to get in on that, for that money as well. We'd be crazy not to make an effort, not to make a run at it. So we'll try to do that. And finally, I think maybe Chief Laney mentioned it, or maybe Hal did, I'm not sure, but I think we've gotten some improvement in the school traffic with the middle school, and our officers have been going. I don't know that they've been there every day, but they've been there pretty much every day, and I think it's flowing better. In the afternoon, I'd been up in a couple of mornings, and it was flowing very well, but they told me the morning wasn't really the problem, the afternoon was. So I think it's in better shape, but we'll see when we come back in 2 weeks. That's all the old business I've got. The only new business I've got is our budget report. I just want to bring you up to date on that. This budget report is dated Friday, December 17, and that is, I believe that's the 170th day of the fiscal year. 46.6% of the year is elapsed on the general fund. We are right at 46.1%, which is great because the majority of our property taxes have not come in yet. But I want to call your attention to something here, that two things that to me bode well for our community. If you'll see 6 lines down, the local sales tax. That's what our people get here. Well, let me back up. It's not true. That's what we get, but it's based on what our merchants get in sales. We budgeted $260,000 for that. We've already gotten $152,000. That's 58.5% at 46% of the year. So that's pretty good. The other thing is, it appears, I know we're selling a lot of beer, it appears. We're at 57.1% on the local beer tax. So,
I noticed that too.
yeah, it's, I'm not sure that it equates to more drinking, but it certainly equates to more sales. Then I would anticipate that might go up a little bit over the Christmas holidays as well. But those are two things that, that local sales tax, when it's up like that, that means things are, I won't say good, but that means things are better for our local merchants. And I'm glad to see that. We had the adopted farmhouse on Tennessee Crossroads last Thursday night. Very nice feature on that. And I'm sure that'll pull in some people to come in and see what it's all about. We are in the general fund at this stage of the year, $186,000 to the good, which is very good. The Parks and Recreation Fund is about $1,280. Expenses exceed revenues by $1,280. I always hate to use the term in the hole because that's not true, but at this point in time, $1,280 expenses more than revenue. I got to look into that a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on there. We keep a pretty good rein on all three of our sports and keep them separated out so that they are self-funded. So I'll figure that out, but I didn't have a chance to look at it today. And then on the water and sewer fund, while our revenue's not where I had hoped it would be, we're still $70,000 to the good at this point in the year. So hopefully that will continue, and all I can say to that is use more water. And yep. But that's all. Anybody got any questions on that? That's just a brief run over on what we've got there. But we're doing very well. The Parks and Recreation thing doesn't concern me. I just need to find out why it's that way at this stage of the year. Because we've started our basketball programs, a lot of our sponsorship fees are coming in, but we don't have a lot of expenses yet. So I got to take a look at that, and I will. Next meeting will be next year, January the 18th at 6 o'clock. That will be the third Tuesday And I'll look forward to seeing y'all next year. And I'm ready to go around the table, if y'all are. Al?
The sign ordinance you gave me,
Yes.
way I look at it, we have to have a committee more or less to enforce these laws.
Hal, I hadn't even read it. I know we passed that several years ago.
Yeah,
and
it's,
nothing been done on it.
And the only one I'm really concerned with, and I think the ones that talk to me about it, is the construction of the signs. You know, instead of, they said no crack signs worn out or anything or shabby looking. And I think that's probably the thing that we need to look at, you know.
Okay.
But we need to set up, you need to set up probably a committee to
I'll try to look at that
to
too.
be over that, the sign ordinance and to put up a sign, placing them, how high they are, everything.
I will try to look at that too, but send me what concerns you got or questions, and I'll share those with Tom Brashear.
Okay.
Because Tom's the one that wrote the sign on it.
Okay.
And I don't remember, does it have the date on there? I didn't bring my copy tonight. That when we adopted, I want to say something like 96.
I believe it was, something like that.
That's a long time ago.
I don't swear it tells on here.
Okay, it's no big deal. I know it's an old one.
Yeah, it's an old one,
It is. And it may even need some updating, you know.
probably.
Tom will be proud to hear that because the county's got him working on a land use plan and he's spread pretty thin. And they're wanting it done quickly. Anything else?
One else.
Yeah.
Did we do anything for the firemen? You know, like the bonus or whatever? You know, you was gonna look at that.
You know, I didn't, and I felt like today while I was preparing that there was something I'd forgotten. That's it.
That's important to me.
I will do that.
Fireman,
Yes.
that fire department is, I think is essential to our community. Very essential.
I will bring you something in January. I just forgot that, but I will.
That's
And
all.
we'll do something.
Okay, that's all.
We'll do that. I mean, I'll recommend it. That's up to y'all whether we do it. You mentioned something to me the other day at the funeral home about Jimmy.
Oh, yeah,
About-
that's good. I want to recommend that we put up a plaque for Jimmy at the ball field and also at the shop. He was good in both places. I mean, he worked hard, really hard at both places. And I would like to recommend or make a motion that we put a plaque up at the shop and also at the ball field.
Sounds good to me. Is there a second to that?
I second that. That's a great idea.
I'll third that.
Because I sure have missed driving by every morning.
Yeah, I drive by every morning, and Jimmy's always down there, and he's not now.
Well, I got a first, second, and third, and I know I'm for it, so I think it's gonna pass, but all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Stephen? All right, Miss Laura?
Yes, sir. Someone brought up to me that there needed to be a yield sign at Commerce Road and Elm, because technically Commerce Road keeps going straight if you're coming from the waste facility. And Elm wants to go straight, of course. So the people that's coming from the waste facility should actually technically have the right of way if they're going on to Commerce. But they're crossing over Elm where it cuts into Commerce. If you look at just the street names.
Now, isn't that considered Commerce Road all the way down from Main Street, go straight through? Elm is the one that yields into it. Isn't that correct?
Elm is the one right off of the square.
I know, but
And
that's,
Commerce is the one that has to stop if you're going out. So if you're
know.
coming back into town,
Commerce, it starts at Main Street and goes straight through. So Elm is the one joins the street.
Right.
Right. So technically, if you're coming from the waste facility, now, Elm is the one that technically is not in proper alignment. I said, I've been
But
here all
there
my
is
life, and that's how it's always been, and everybody around here knows.
There is a stop sign there, though, correct?
Going to the waste facility, but coming from the waste facility.
But the stop sign is on
Commerce.
Commerce, going to the waste facility, and Elm is merging in, when you're going to the
Yes.
dump, Elm is merging in from your left.
Yes.
That's in the county though, coming back right there.
But coming back, technically.
There's no signage letting them know. I got you.
Technically, Commerce goes left.
I always put my blinker on there.
I would
I
almost,
treat it just like County
Legally,
left.
like, this person was saying legally, Commerce had the right.
I would
of way
almost think
because-
Elm Street would need the stop sign, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so too, cause I've always thought, I always known that.
I don't know that we need to change that, I'm just saying.
Y'all fixing to open a can
Yeah.
of worms
I'm
there.
just saying that.
Commerce goes from Main Street all the way through.
But Commerce has the stop sign going out of
And
town.
Elm should have a stop.
Have we had a lot of
Or yield.
accidents right there, though? Have we had a lot of accidents right there?
That's it, they must have, like that.
I'm just bringing up what someone said.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never noticed it.
I just stop and wait and see what the rest are gonna do.
that's, yep. Safety.
If you're going 20 miles an hour, you're going slow enough.
Right, if it's going right away or not, I don't know what they're gonna do.
All right, let me think out loud here a minute. Right now, Elm has the right of way all the way through and we stop on Commerce.
Correct.
Wouldn't we want to be consistent coming back the same way, that Elm would have the
I
right of
think so,
way?
yeah.
And then cross over,
Exactly.
so Commerce would have the stop sign. You gotta treat it just like a left-hand turn there.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we do now.
But technically, you gotta treat it like a left-hand turn when you're on Commerce to stay on Commerce when you're coming into town. And that's what's confusing to
But
whoever.
that's Commerce Avenue and it goes into Commerce Road. So that's a straight shoot.
It is, but if you start stopping them on Elm,
Yeah, I agree, but that's what everybody does, but that's not the way it's supposed to be.
what about it, Bob?
We're not having any accidents.
I go say, if the police department's not getting any accidents, I'd leave it
Do you feel
alone.
like you've done your duty? Okay, all right.
I'm good with it. We discussed it.
In the county, sometimes we say we take those under advisement.
That's what we'll do. We will advise. If we have accidents, please let us know. We can-
There we go.
I think anything, nobody's gonna pay attention to it.
Put a flashing light and you had wreck. You ain't had no wrecks right there yet.
Exactly.
You know, now that we've talked about it, we'll probably have a dozen in the next week. That's the law averages, it'll be your fault. No, anything else?
No, sir, that was it.
That's a pretty good discussion. It may bear looking at it again, but we'd have to put out, if we change that, we'd have to put out a lot of notice.
Well, my grandfather lived on that farm, and there was, the only wrecks we might have ever had is people running the stop sign. But even that, it was just squealing of tires. I don't ever remember a handful of wrecks there my whole life.
I think Christie's got the right idea, just stop in all directions, do you see there's nobody coming?
Just slow down and see what they're gonna do,
But I don't know where they would put a yield sign anyways, because the only place you would put a yield sign, we already have a stop sign.
This person was talking about coming from the waste facility, right there at the corner to put a yield. Facing this way, so they.
But
knew.
that wouldn't be appropriate, because no one coming from this way would be yielding. It would be a left turn.
But if you
Right?
look
Am
at
I
the
thinking
street name,
correctly? Yeah.
The street name
But-
technically is going Commerce.
But the street name also changes, I think,
From road to avenue.
from road to
See, I didn't
avenue.
know that,
It's,
yeah.
there's also a street change, a road name change there.
Right, I did not realize that either.
Yeah, I think we better keep it under advisement.
Cause I think even if we put anything up there, they're gonna say it's still.
Yeah.
They've done it for too long.
It kind of reminds me of the time and nobody was on the council then, maybe Hal was, that we put speed bumps in a couple of places in town, and you never seen such squalling.
Yes.
And then we took them out, and you never heard such squalling.
If we
And
left it alone,
we decided that night we would never, ever again put up speed bumps.
I was on.
And we hadn't.
Yes.
I mean, and then the one time I thought would probably be the end of, would be my Waterloo, is when we painted the square and y'all painted the parking spaces different from what they were. They used to be this way and y'all painted them this way, and I thought that'll be the death of me. You know, people say, Mayor, we've been doing this 50 years, but nobody said anything. But I thought that, you know, just little things like that occasionally will set people off. Christie? Caleb?
What do you think, Christy? You drive down that road
I know, I just like stop, kind of, if I see somebody coming, I'm just like, slow down and see what they do. I don't want to assume that it's my right and that I don't know what they're doing, so I don't get hit, so I just slow down.
You know, we don't want anybody in our community to get hurt, and I say this jokingly, not that I don't want them to get hurt, but the bar would probably like for there to be some accidents there, but the law profession. That's a joke, don't anybody take me seriously. That's a
I
joke.
think Officer Hinderlight should go check it out and tell us, report back to us what you think.
Just let us know when it starts to be accidents. We can bring it back.
Oh, if we have an accident, y'all will hear about it. And we certainly will now, we'll all hear about it. All right, you said you had nothing, Caleb?
Yes, sir.
All right, you getting ready for a big Christmas at your house too, aren't you?
Be fun.
Good.
Is he ripping everything open?
I'm gonna skip Miss Brandy tonight. No, it's your turn.
I was good till you said that.
Yep. I can skip you.
I typed it all up in case I couldn't make it through, but as many of you know, I've put my house up on the market for sale, and we have an offer on our house, which I'm proud of. And although I could continue to reside in my home for another few weeks, my family and I will be moving to Lebanon permanently. And so tonight, I would like to offer to you my official resignation from the council as Vice Mayor and Alderman of Watertown. I remember how inferior I felt when I sat right over there 3 terms ago. And I looked around this table with all these qualified individuals. And looking back over the last several years, you know, I may not have lived here as long as some of you have, or have the knowledge or the history of this town. But I don't think anybody can say that I didn't love this city, and my heart and my soul was in this community. I can say that I sat at this table with no voting in impartiality. I felt like I voted the way my constituents wanted me to when they voted me into this position. I personally, when I came to Watertown, I don't think I really thought I wanted to be here, but the Lord wanted me here. I didn't know much about this town. I can tell you the first home I sat in it. Permission to speak, Mr. Mayor, for a few minutes?
As long as you want to. Now y'all know why I wanted to skip over. She had forewarned me.
I went to college with Lisa and Joe Malone, Liam Malone's children. Bird Dog, I think, is what he's known. And I had Sunday dinner in Miss Allie Malone's house several times. And when Rick Martin called me to take the position at Watertown High School, I knew if anybody here in this town was as hospitable as Allie Malone, that I would love this town. And the first person I met was Elbert Mathis. I cannot tell you what Elbert Mathis means to me. He drove my team. He drove us on the bus to the softball games. I learned more valuable lessons from Elbert Mathis about life and love than you can sit through a Sunday school lesson in any church in America. You can learn more from Elbert Mathis than you can in some churches. I also learned from Elbert that speed limit signs are just suggestions, that they are not where you that you don't have to follow those. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity. I know you didn't necessarily put me here. That was the community and their votes. I hope I got a vote from you at some point in time, but I know that you didn't necessarily put me here on your own, but I thank you for trusting me. And for those of you around this table that I sit with, I think our city is in wonderful hands. I could have written a letter or an email, but I love this city enough that I wanted to say publicly that I'm thankful for the time that I've had here and for the votes. And I'm not leaving Watertown. I'll still be here. My family is at the high school right now watching a basketball game, and I will probably go there when I leave. I remember the first time I met Bob. Who doesn't remember the first time you met Bob? I couldn't tell if he liked me or didn't like me. But I went, you don't love me anymore. But Bob, I went home and I told my husband, I said, well, the first time I met you, I wasn't married, but
Oh, man, y'all remember we're on YouTube now.
I didn't know if Bob liked me or disliked me, but I knew one thing, that when push came to shove, that I wanted you in my corner. And I don't think push ever came to shove with anybody, but I knew. Bob changed his phone number one time. I don't remember when it was. It was a long time ago. And he gave me his phone number. He said, if you need me, I want you to have my phone number. And I knew right then I could call him at any time, no matter what I needed, and that you would have been right there. And I feel like I could say that about 98% of the people that have a 37184 at the end of their address. So I'm pleased for my time here. And I'm sorry I'm leaving, but I will say that I have spent much time in prayer, and I think it's the right decision. So, thank you.
Well, thank you on behalf of this community and this area. You may not wanted to be here when you first came up, but you found out it is a wonderful community. And we're going to miss you sitting around this table. But we are thankful that we had the opportunity to work with you. And did you say 3 terms? You've been around 12 years? Wow. Time flies, I guess. But now y'all see why I wanted to skip her tonight. She had forewarned me, and we'd had a discussion a couple of weeks ago, and I told her that the announcement was hers, it wasn't mine, and I kept my word and didn't mention it to anybody, and kept hoping that maybe I dreamed that discussion we had that day, but it wasn't a dream, or maybe it was a bad dream. But anyway, she has done a wonderful job to a commitment to this community, to our school, in her efforts as a teacher and as a softball and volleyball coach. We've been to the state tournament 2 or 3 times. Four, excuse me. I do that every time, don't I? I do that every time, yep. 4 in a row.
She is very missed in the high school.
Yep, and she's down in the big house now at the central office, but, effort should be rewarded, and it was in that situation, and we will miss her. What this means is, in January, we got to elect somebody to take her place, or at least January, no later than February. And your term is up in 24 or 22? Okay,
I'm technically on that side, so,
okay,
no, four. I'm with the election, the presidential election usually.
okay.
20, I'm sorry, 20, yes.
So whoever we elect will have this position for 22, 23, and most of 24. So just about all of 24, so almost 3 years. So at any event, we appreciate your kind words. I know that was tough for you. I knew it was going to be. But you asked me today if you could write something out, and I thought to myself, you don't really want it. You may want to write it out to read from. You didn't want to do it that way. And I didn't want to encourage you the other way. So thank you for your service. And I'm going to miss watching them two youngins grow up. Yeah. But anyway, we thank you.
I talked to Brandy back a couple of weeks ago, and I told her she just couldn't leave. I said, I understand, but I said, you just can't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's she's done a bang up job, and I would have said that whether she was sitting here listening or not. She's done a wonderful job. Did you have anything you wanted to bring before us tonight as a?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and I'm assuming your resignation will be effective at the end of this meeting? Or is it a little further out?
Well, maybe, I don't know. I assumed it would be at the end of this meeting, yes.
Do you want it to be at the end of this meeting? I mean, don't you, if we have a wreck out there at the yield sign, don't you want to be involved in that?
I don't know how all that legally works, but it is my intention to, as soon as the paperwork goes through, no longer be living in the city limits, which I assume will happen before the next meeting.
You know, these things are always tough as far as legality because you have all kind of things that go on. We have people that get elected to positions and then they winter in Florida, but they intend to come back, so they don't give up their residence and that type of thing. But speaking from a practical standpoint, it would probably be best if it's effective at the end of this meeting. But if you don't want it to be, it's your call. You were the one elected by the people.
That was my intentions, was
Okay.
that this would be effective
Okay.
tonight, yes.
Well, I don't know that it's required for a vote, and I'm not going to call for a vote because you won't get any votes to accept it, so we just won't vote. But anyway, again, we thank you for your service and wish you well in whatever endeavor you and your family enter upon. And maybe some of these folks, you are originally from Dixon, is that right? Dixon County. Okay. So, I didn't know that until maybe you told me a while back. I don't remember. All right, folks, that's really all I have for tonight. Did you have something, y'all? I know y'all went back there and talked. Did you have something?
I got something for you, and then at some point, we need to discuss the radio situation that we had talked about
Okay.
last year for that, because our stuff isn't working.
Okay.
It's not.
All right, but let me just mention something here, and we can't take it up tonight, of course, but the county and WEMA are about to invest in about, I believe, $3.5 million, or maybe it's $7 million, 3.5 each on a major radio system. How's that going to tie in with us?
That's consistent with what I want to send and talk to you about.
Okay.
The portables that they're buying are $1,300 a piece.
Okay.
We'll need at least 6 or 7, 8, but we'll have to have that to be compatible with the new system and plus stuff for patrol.
Okay, I just want to make sure we do what we need to, and as I know y'all do too.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll talk about it. Nothing we need to do tonight.
No, I'll send it all to you, and I think we can piggyback or grandfather in off of Gallatin's federal grant, whatever that process was that Chris sent me, and I already have everything, and I'll resend it to you, but
Okay.
it's not gonna be an option at some point, because when they change.
Yeah, we got to be able to talk to them. We got to be able to communicate with them. All right, if there's nothing else then, I will wish, again, all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and look forward to seeing you between now and the New Year, but also after the New Year. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, get up and go home.